Hi, it's Jane from Thread My Bobbin. Welcome if you're new here. I'm just going to chat about what I've been doing in the last week and then also share a quilt of my daughter's that I'm going to be working on. It's a beautiful Christmas quilt. So, first of all, the main thing I worked on this week was the Tumbling Blocks quilt for my son. I spent much more than 15 minutes a day on it, and I've got the centerpiece of it finished. So I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. Yeah, it's fiddly, every seam is on a bias, and I don't really want to make one again, but I am happy that I've now got the center done. What my plan is to use this brown fabric and do maybe a 2.5 inch border around the center panel. And then I have this fabric, which is actually the same pattern as the light colours for the tops of the blocks, but it has a little bit of purple in it, which I really like. So my thought is to do a 2.5 inch strip around the edge to border it, and then a strip about that wide around that, and then I'll probably bind it with a purple. So my plan with this, that's kind of number one to get finished before Christmas. I've been looking at, I've kind of been planning for like coming up to the end of the year and what I want to get done. So this is kind of number one, get it done for my son so I can give it to him for Christmas. So that's where my Tumbling Blocks UFO is up to. The other thing I've worked on this week is catching up on Blockheads. I'm not going to make Blockheads tutorials videos anymore. I'm just going to talk about each week what I've been working on. So I've got more time to sew, less time to edit videos. So these are the Blockheads blocks I made this week. This is the wholehearted block. And I'm pleased that Blockheads has only got a few more weeks to go. I think it finishes at the end of November. So that's good, that'll free up a bit of time, but it'll be nice to have it done. This block is called Sweet Pea. That's a nice little star block. I do have to also make doubles of some blocks. So, and then this block is Cloud 9, so just lots of flying geese. I think I've got 3 more to catch up on, and then I'll be on track, and there's only about 4 more blocks to go. And so I want to get Blockheads, I want to finish the Blockheads flimsy by the end of the year. So this week coming I'll work on getting all the blocks caught up. I'll be up to date with Blockheads. Now I think I showed some of these before I started. Just my scrap bins are kind of really crammed full. So I've been using up my 2.5 inch strips. I find this really relaxing to do, just sewing them potato chip blocks into squares. So I made, I think 4 or 5 more of these. And I'll just keep, this is something I'll just work on, and eventually these blocks will get used up somewhere. They're kind of a nice easy project to do when I want to sew but I don't want to think. And I think these last 3 are the ones that I had done before. And so a couple of years ago my daughter made the blocks for this Christmas quilt, and I said to her that she's doing them quilt-as-you-go, and I said that I would finish it off for her. They need to be joined, quilted and bound. And what I'd really like to do this year is get the quilt for my son and this quilt for my daughter both finished, ready for Christmas time. So that's kind of going to be my number one thing I'll be working on. And I'm going to show you these blocks. They're really beautiful. The fabrics are they're kind of sparkly and shiny. They're gold. And this is just a design that she made up herself. And she put this together. But I find she doesn't like doing the binding and quilting. I quite like doing the binding and quilting, so I said I was happy to do this for her. She's made a few quilts, they're quite nice, but we're very different in the way we approach it, and I'll show you how she approaches it in a minute. So I think this will be great to be able to finish it and give it to her for Christmas. The last large block is really stunning. I really like it. So that's all the small stars, and then there are these bigger stars. And then even bigger stars, which I'll stand up with. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really gorgeous quilt. This one's red and gold. And then this last block is my favourite block because it's got the blue in it. I just think it's a really beautiful block. So there you go. So that's all the blocks made, and I'm going to join them, quilt it and bind it. But I think it's interesting how we approach things differently. So I like all kinds of quilts. I'm always doing lots of things at once. I see a pattern I like, or you know, and I have to start it. For me, the whole process is, you know, what I'm passionate about. So, but this is what happens for her. She decides she wants to make a quilt, and she sits down, and tell me if you're like this, what kind of quilter you are. I think we're all just different. So she actually sits down with graph paper and graphs out the blocks she wants to make, how the quilt's going to look, and works it all out from that. That's how she does it. So she drew up these blocks, and then this is her pattern of how the blocks are going to go together. So we've got to make a small strip here, these 4 small strips. We'll need to, I'll talk to her about what she wants to go in there, and then I'll join them, you know, join the top row, bottom row, middle row. So that's going to be interesting. That's my goals for the end of the year. The other thing I've done is I managed to get Grandma's Kitchen fully pinned, so it's, you know, sandwich pinned, rolled up, ready for me to start quilting, and I'll just work on that a little bit each day. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Other than that, I'm really looking forward to doing DJ next year, which is going to be a big project. I'm basically just going to try and make a video once a week. I think that's a bit more manageable. Sometimes I bite off more than I can chew, and then life happens and I get behind. So tell me what you're up to. Tell me what you want to get finished before Christmas. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate my viewers and the comments that you leave. It's really encouraging. And yeah, I will see you again next week. Bye.